On June 28, 2014, Randy O'Neill's father and a family friend were sailing on the Intercoastal Waterway in Chesapeake, Virginia, and they took a photograph capturing what looks like a tall, giant, hairy creature resembling a Bigfoot. And this photograph is clearish, considering all of Bigfoot's other modeling endeavors. Clearish enough that it ended up on the local news. But the interesting part of the story is that Randy claims that 25 years ago, Randy, his father, and the same family friend had already seen this creature in almost the same exact area. Yeah. So 25 years ago, the three were camping in about the same area, and they were enjoying their night, doing what people do camping, fishing, sitting by the fire, drinking beer, swapping stories, the usual. Now, at about 9 p.m., they all decided to go to bed, but they left the campfire burning because they were in a huge, icky swamp. Now, at some point during the night, Randy woke up, and through the campfire, he saw two glowing red eyes staring at him from the bushes outside of the camp. That's terrifying. Did I just jump with a hut laugh into this microphone? Yeah, I did. So obviously at this point, Randy woke his father up. And Randy's father handed him a gun and told him to shoot the thing. Oh yeah, it's that kind of camping trip. But Randy claimed that he could only tell where the creature was when the light at the fire was reflecting off of its eyes. Otherwise, all he could see was darkness. So Randy's father told him to just shoot where he thought the thing was. Yeah, now we're just shooting blindly in the dark, y'all. Oh, you can't see where the creature is? Just shoot blindly in the dark, boy. Just shoot blindly in the dark. You'll hit something. Hell yeah. And he did. He fired that gun out into the darkness, hoping that he'd hit that creature out there. And the creature let out a horrifying scream. So they heard this creature run off into the woods, and then they heard a huge splashing sound, because again, they're in a huge, icky swamp. It's a swamp squatch. So obviously, these three men were pretty shooken up at this point and decided to stay up the rest of the night just in case the creature decided to come back. Should be pretty dumb. So in the morning time, they decided to investigate the area where they had seen the creature. And what they found was a huge area from the campsite to the water that was completely trampled over. Like all the brush and foliage was stamped down, like something huge had run through the area and trampled everything down. Now, Randy does not claim that what he saw that night was a Bigfoot. And he also doesn't claim that the picture that was taken 25 years ago was a Bigfoot. But he did say that he's never seen or heard anything like it since in the woods. I think I know where to plan my next camping trip. Thanks for the recommendation, Randy. Now, in the 1980s, there was actually a whole bunch of encounters of a Bigfoot-type creature in almost the same area that Randy had his encounters. In fact, there are so many encounters that these stories ended up on the local news. I think this Bigfoot liked the attention. Because this Bigfoot wanted to be a star. Superstar. These sightings happened around the Northwest River Park, which is still around today, and also around the Great Dismal Swamp, which is mostly all still here today. In 1981, Sherry Davis of Chesapeake, Virginia, was camping in the Northwest River Park. At about 2 a.m., she woke up to crashing noises in her campsite. And Sherry, this badass, got out of her tent or whatever she was sleeping in, walked over to her car, and turned the car headlights on so that she could see what was causing this crashing noise in her campsite. And while I'm sure her first initial thought wasn't a Bigfoot creature, there are plenty of black bear in the area. Serial killer, could have been a serial killer. Jason, could have been Jason. But what Sherry saw was a huge, giant, hairy figure standing in her campsite. And that creature stood there for a whole 15 seconds before running off into the woods. So Sherry, the badass, got a good look at this creature. She saw the damn thing. And Sherry, the badass, said that the worst part of this whole experience was the smell that it left behind. Not the fact that there was a giant, hairy humanoid creature in her campsite. No. That's just a typical Tuesday for Sherry. It was the gross smell that it left behind. That was the worst part to Sherry. I want to go camping with Sherry. Sherry, can we go camping together? Because you were obviously not afraid of anything. I love you, Sherry. So the park ranger at this time, Pat Higgins, at the time that this article was written in the early 1980s, had never seen the Bigfoot creature. But he did believe that there was a huge, giant, hairy creature living in those woods. He was fairly certain that the creature lived in the Dismal Swamp and would wander over into the Northwest River Park. And apparently this creature did leave behind such a rancid smell wherever it was that Ranger Higgins nicknamed it Skunkfoot. That smell drives the Lady Bigfeet wild. And Park Ranger Higgins ended the article saying that there is something out there that we cannot explain. Do you think I'm spooky? So I know there's a lot of theories out there about Bigfoot. There are actually a lot of good, logical, rational theories about a Bigfoot type creature living in North America. But the rational part of my brain says, where's the hard evidence? I know. You do not need to come in here and attack me, okay? I know. I've heard all the theories about why there is no hard evidence, why they haven't found a body yet. I've heard it all. There are some really good logical explanations about why there has not been a body found yet, but until there is a body found, all we have are people's personal encounter stories. And while yes, there are thousands and thousands of documented encounters with these creatures from people all over the world, that still doesn't mean that that counts as hard evidence. And I know that people have also sent in like fur samples and stuff of weird hair that they found in the woods, and nothing's come back conclusive with those either. Okay? I know. It would be really great if there's actually a serious scientific study done, but unfortunately, there's a lot of ridiculousness that make it so that no one wants to take the subject seriously. And then there's also a lot of crazy theories out there. And when I say crazy theories, I mean things like Bigfoot is an interdimensional creature that can travel across dimensions, and that's why you can't get a picture of him. That's why there's no body found, because he's traveling interdimensionally. And then there are a whole other group of people who believe that Bigfoot is the offspring of an angel and a human called the Nephilim? Yeah. People believe that. And I kind of love that theory because it just suggests that this like angelic being came down, banged a human, and the result was this ape on steroids. So yeah, if you do want to have a giant hairy ape-like creature on steroids, baby, go bang an angel. Bang an angel. But this is why the subject is not taken seriously. I know. I personally hope that there is a giant, hairy, bipedal creature wandering around the forests of America and Canada and everywhere else where these types of creatures are seen, all over the world. It leaves a bit of mystery left in this world. I do like telling myself that there are still mysterious creatures living out there that we have yet to discover. It is a nice little treat for my brain. Hell yeah, I want Bigfoot to be real. I want to believe. So if you're ever hiking in the area of the Great Dismal Swamp and the Northwest River Park, keep an eye out, because you might see the big guy.